You got any podcast recs? I'm about to go on a long road trip with my fam, so I need a few.
Yes, dude, I have a ton. Okay, dude, this reminds me, 8 guys in a shipping container, daily podcast about college wrestling. I'm listening to this betting podcast where it's like 2 dads and they bet on their kids' Little League games. There's these 2 monkeys who found a microphone, and it's actually pretty good.
We're doing podcasts. That's our world. Our world is fucking around with people.
Fuck you. Fuck you for thinking that this world needs another podcast and that people you know should listen to it. It's a bad idea and a waste of time.
I already bought the gear.
Return it and then spend the money on literally anything else.
You know, this week you went viral for your new dislike of podcasts. Is there no point anyone asking you to join those again?
Yeah, please. You know where I'm at with the podcast. I feel like fucking Jordan Peterson every time I turn on Instagram. I'm on a fucking podcast. Yes, no more podcasts, please. Podcast it out.
Time to get podcasted back in, Dana White, Grumpy Pants. This is Ego and Vice, episode 133.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Hey, this is Mike. This is Ego and Vice. This is episode 133. Welcome back. How have you been? I'm great. Thank you for asking. Yes, perhaps there is too many podcasts out there. What is your consensus? What is your thought? What is your opinion? Send me a message. Let me know. egoandvice@gmail.com. We'll discuss. It's your choice to listen to them. It's nice to have variety, right? Maybe I want to listen to a podcast about pro wrestling. I can find, I don't know, half a dozen. Maybe I want to listen to a podcast about bass fishing. There's probably more than a half a dozen. Maybe I don't want to listen to podcasts at all, so I don't turn on my phone. It's choice, my friends. Choice! Yes, there's a lot of podcasts. But is there enough time in the world to listen to them all? Probably not. So don't even try. Stick to what you like and support. That's exactly what we're going to do today. My guests are my colleagues, my peers, some friends of mine, local podcasters, Dawg and Gus. Really making a name for themselves over the last 3 years here in Ottawa in the music scene. I'm happy for Dawg and Gus to be out there because the more the merrier. Whatever gets the word and the sound and the music of the Ottawa music scene farther, I'm on board. And they're awesome dudes. Really, really nice guys. I was on their podcast last year. We planned on doing the payback show or the rebound show or the back-to-back, whatever. It's finally come around. We're both busy shows, right? We're going to break it down. They're going to tell us all about the Dawg and Gus show, where they've been, where they are, where they want to be. Right after this self-indulgent tune. This is a song from the Riptides. That's right, it's my show. I'll play what I want. We're coming back with Dawg and Gus, episode 133. Ego and Vice.
Goodbye, Hawaii. We'll be back soon. Underneath the moon, goodbye Hawaii, will always be true. Goodbye Hawaii, we'll be missing you. sun. Goodbye, Hawaii, will always be true. Goodbye, Hawaii, we'll be missing you. Goodbye, Hawaii, we'll be back soon. Goodbye to all of those pretty girls kissing underneath the moon. Goodbye, Hawaii, will always be true. Goodbye, Hawaii, we'll miss you, Hawaii, you're my number one. Goodbye to all of those pretty girls surfing underneath the sun. Goodbye, Hawaii, will always be true. Goodbye, Hawaii, we'll be missing you. We'll be missing you. We'll be missing you.
Hey, we're back. This is Mike. This is episode 133. This is Ego and Vice. Today on the podcast, not in Southwood Studio, but via satellite, as they used to say back in the golden oldie days, my days. On the line, I have local podcasts, local celebrities, podcasters, local radiosmen, and videosmen. The ones, the onlys, the men, the myth, the legends. Dawg and Gus. What's going on, guys?
Oh, what an intro!
That's a great intro.
Oh, are we? We're locally famous
Right here in this room, we are.
in this room. Yeah. In this room, we're locally famous. Yeah.
I think I said I think I said celebrity. I don't know if I actually said famous.
Oh, touche. My apologies.
No, that's
Thanks
fine.
for having us, bro.
Oh, no, it's great. I was on the podcast. You guys were nice enough, gracious enough, hospitable enough to have me on the podcast last year. And I had a great time. And I said, I'll pay it forward, pay it back or whatever. So this is the Ego and Vice crossover / Dawg and Gus payback episode. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think we have something to talk about. Eh?
Yeah, definitely. Well, you guys have been going strong, and you're in your third season now. Well,
Yes.
the 3 with. It's neat how you do that, because in the first season it was the 1 with, the second season it was the 2 with, and now with the third season it's the 3 with. Enter name of band and or artist.
Yeah, that was actually Dawg's big contribution at the beginning.
Well, thank you.
No, because we sort of said the 1, and then Dawg was like in the second season. Because we saw, you know how you do yours is number 133, and all the other ones do number whatever. We just sort of thought something different, and Dawg was, he's pretty handy with that kind of stuff. So he put in the 2 with, and I was like, that's brilliant. I like that. So yeah, it worked out really well.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool play on words, but it also serves its purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 3, the 2. What are you gonna do when you're at? What are you gonna do when you're in like the 13th with? Oh, I guess that works too, eh? Up in the double digits.
The 1-3 with.
The 1-3 with.
Oh,
I like that.
Ooh, I've already thought that far ahead.
Well, Dawg will have like
Alzheimer's.
by then, so we're good.
I won't remember the episodes.
Yeah, it'll just be it'll just be sloppy. It'll be 2 old guys just fucking
We'll be like the guys from the Muppets.
Yeah, it's Waldorf and Stadler. So
Yeah,
That's
Stadler?
right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Stadler, yeah.
It stinks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how has it been going? How has the podcast been going? I know you guys are super busy with the podcast, but you have a bunch of other stuff on the go. But let's just focus on the podcast for a bit. Now that you're in your third season, you're still dropping episodes once a week. How's everything going now that you're, I guess, pretty seasoned into it?
I think it's just more organized for sure, and we have, we don't ever want it to be too formal, because it's I don't find that to be too it's not fun for the guest, and it's not fun for us really. I mean, I think that, and Dawg can go on this a bit, but we like to make it all about the artist themselves and the guest, whoever that is, and then we're just kind of a vessel for them. But the one thing that we have gotten a bit better at is the background stuff, like the audio and the video and and making sure that everything's kind of polished that way
Yeah.
as best we can. Yours was obviously, we had that sound thing, and then we sort of sorted that thing out, but you were amazing to help us out with that. But yeah, the Dogwood's probably, what do you think?
I think our questions still suck, but we're doing our best.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, he's just pissed because the 80s are way down compared to the 90s in the question. We had to ask the same question at the end of every show, 80s or 90s, and Dog's just totally, it's got to be 75 to 30 or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm thinking in season 4, it's only going to be people over the age of 45 that we're interviewing.
Oh, that's
sounds good.
strategy. It's all about strategy.
Yeah. Thank you.
45 is perfect because they'll still say 90s.
No, they won't.
Yeah.
No. Okay, 50 then. Fine. I'll just go. I'll go to the octogenarians. And they'll say, I'm sorry, what was the question?
Yeah. Who are you?
Anyway, it's been going well.
Yeah, I think the longer you do anything, like I remember when I started the podcast, I told you guys I did it with the cheese grater and the Rock Band microphone and the duct tape, and then now I kind of have everything figured out. You guys have a lot of moving parts in your podcast, though, because you do the audio, you do the video. I saw the other day I was just going through it, and on Spotify, you actually have the video when you click on the link. Is that right now?
Yeah, that's something we're trying now. We have obviously on YouTube, we have the video always, and then we thought, well, we can. Why don't we just throw it up on Spotify as well? We'll have both the audio and the video. So
yeah,
that's a little thing we tinkered with.
That's cool.
It may stay, it may not. We're not sure.
We don't know. We don't know. We might just keep a video on YouTube and then have the audio on Spotify, but it doesn't matter because it's on everything. So it's like you can listen to audio or you can listen to video or watch the video or whatever. So
cool. Well, we might as well do a little backstory because might be a lot of listeners that are familiar with Dawg and Gus, but they don't really know what Dawg and Gus is all about. Did you guys want to give a little backstory of how the podcast got started?
Sure. Go ahead, Dawg.
Well, of course, it all goes back to the Big C.
Yes, the Big C.
The Big C. I was looking for something to do during COVID because, I wasn't working a lot and I was getting stir crazy. So I bought some podcast equipment. I just started doing my own little music podcast by myself in my apartment. And later on, when we were able to go out and actually be around other people, I met up with Gus and another friend at the Saint Laurent Shopping Center. And I mentioned to Gus, I said, I'm interested in doing a radio, starting a radio station. And he kind of looked at me and he goes, well, why don't we do a podcast?
Mm-hmm.
And I went, okay. And stupidly said, about what? And he looked at me like I had an extra head and said music, of course.
Yeah.
And I was like, what a great idea.
Yeah.
So it kind of started with that. And then it was kind of like, we started to chat a little bit about it. And then it was like, well, what are we going to call it? And I thought of, was it some two guys chatting or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Two guys chatting, which I didn't really drive with. At the time.
No, and then he came back. He texted me back a little while later. He said, "What about Dawg and Gus?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
again, he didn't know what Gus meant.
I'm like, yeah, the dog part I understand. What's this Gus? And he's like, Angus. That's Gus's last name. His last name is Angus. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So once he filled the idiot in on what he was trying to think about, it kind of gelled, and then it was like, okay, so we got a name. Now we need, a caricature, right? We because I loved his caricature from his real estate that he had.
Mm-hmm.
So that we got that done, and that was just like perfect. Like you can see it like on our shows and stuff. It's just it's such a huge part of the podcast. People love it.
Yeah,
yeah. It's like it was for me. It's all about branding and Dawg sort of. I remember when we first we started our podcast, started talking about music, and we didn't know exactly where we would fit in. And then somebody messaged us, which Mark from Make Out Stank, Mark Leo, great guy, and said, "Do you guys do interviews?" And then my hamster started jogging, and then I was like, "This is probably what we should be doing." And then it sort of evolved, and the second show or third show maybe, I'm friends with Amanda Rayom, and she agreed to come on, and then. Once we had that person who's a genuine, like a pretty successful Ottawa artist.
Yeah, for sure.
And a great person. And she said yes. And then we had an interview, and Dawg was nervous, and then she's sitting with us, and we were at Staples because that's where we started. They have a little podcast room there. We didn't know.
Oh, really?
We didn't have all our own equipment yet, and then of course we got it all later. But Amanda sort of like, as Dawg was about to press record, she said, "Don't touch that," and then he just sort of relaxed after that. I think everything since then, he's been very relaxed as far as the.
I get very intimidated by people in the music industry because I'm such a huge fan.
Right.
And I've known of Amanda for a lot of years.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it was great for her to do that because it would because Gus and Amanda know each other quite well. And I'm just like, and then she did that, and it was just, we laughed, and then from then on it was great. And then I got a little nervous when we talked to Matt Saab though.
Matt Saab, yeah.
From Monkey Junk.
Because you look up to that band too.
I love Monkey Junk. It's one of my favorite local bands.
So that's where we are now.
Yeah, so it kind of evolved from there, and we've had some amazing interviews with some amazing musical people in this city, and it's just, I'm not saying it's getting better, but we're getting better at what we're doing.
Agreed.
And the people that we talk to are so gracious to give up their time to talk to us and talk about their journeys musically and stuff, and it's been so much fun.
For the branding, I got to say though, Dawg and Gus and your characters is far more, I think, from my opinion, is far more marketable than two guys on the radio or whatever you were going to call it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
thank you.
Give him the kudos that he deserves. It was a much better. Yeah,
has a good ring.
Yeah, right.
It
and
does.
you can spray paint it, and you can have it on a T-shirt. So
that's right.
That's what you want. That's a lot of the other one's a lot of letters for like a sticker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Fine, guys. Fine.
Well, we just copied Ego and Vice and then just sort of switched it.
Exactly. Dawg and Gus, Ego and Vice.
Yeah, that's right. I knew. I'm still waiting for those checks. Eh?
The royalties.
Yeah.
Keep waiting.
You actually owe us money.
Oh shit.
Enough. Yeah.
Is that what happened? Oh,
no, I don't know.
You flipped it on me when I wasn't paying attention.
All that cash that we're pouring in, both of yours and ours.
Yeah. So that was one of my questions. Is when you guys got started, was there any other topic that you were going to do, but you just kind of answered it, where it was music? And I think that's one thing that we share, and it's also kind of our outlook or our mission statement with the podcast, where you said it, you touched on it earlier, where it's all about the guest. And I'd imagine that after you had Amanda on and you actually started having guests on, did your kind of outlook on the podcast change from when you first decided to do it to like maybe halfway season 1, when you've had all these guests? This was like the direction you were going to go in always, or did you ever fall back into I don't know, just talking about music and stuff?
Well, we did a couple where we kind of went back because we didn't have anybody that week or whatever, for whatever reason. But once we started talking to people, we both kind of went, I think this is the way we need to go with this. Just us chatting about music was fine for the first, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But then once we started talking, it was like, yeah, this is definitely the way that we envision, that we're going to envision it to go now. When we first started, I don't think we had really a vision.
No, there wasn't like a vision per se. We just sort of didn't know what we were going to do. Like exactly that. And I think that the interviews that came from that sort of spitballed into the idea of the show, and why our kind of our mission statement and everything kind of came from actually just doing it, like as opposed to having an idea and then just thinking about it so much and then maybe putting it on, like, getting a mic in front of you and going from there. But for us, it was just it sort of evolved. It really did. It was nothing that we thought of. We didn't envision this. We didn't. There was we knew that we wanted to chat. We wanted to kill some time talking about some music, and then it just sort of evolved into a nice little thing that we do together.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I can relate to that too, because when you were talking about the Big C, when you guys started the podcast, I had started the podcast a couple years before that, where when I first started, it was kind of like that. I was just talking about my own stuff, like, hey, I'm in a band and I do this and this. And then I started having guests on, and I really, really enjoyed that because it completely changed like the direction of what I was doing. And it really motivated me to kind of keep going and stuff. Because if I was still just sitting there by myself talking about my own shit, Ego and Vice wouldn't exist right now. And I tell you that truthfully, because through the pandemic, it became more of just a sit there and talk about what's going on, because I stopped having guests on during the pandemic, and I almost just quit. I almost like shut it down. Like if you look back through the archive, you'll see like a big 8-month break between like episodes.
Yeah.
And I realized it was just like, I don't really want to do this without the guests. And as soon as the pandemic opened up a bit more and people started coming in and the guests started coming in, I was like, there it is. This is why I do this. It's super fun for me to build it because it's a hobby and I have a passion and I'm involved in the music scene. But what I really like doing is setting that platform for the local music, local artists, local bands, meeting them, having those conversations. The content's awesome, and it helps out the scene, and it's a really, I don't know, I love sitting down and having conversations with people, especially with something as interesting as much as I love his music. I'm rambling. I guess you guys are
That's
kind
okay.
of the same idea.
Yeah, we adore music. That's I play a little bit of guitar and harmonica, and Dawg is a DJ, but it's not like we're musicians in the scene. We're simply lovers of the artists and the music, and our passion for Ottawa music has grown substantially just because of the people we've met and the music that we found here.
Yeah. I don't think you need to be a musician to love and to share and to support music, though. Do you know what I mean? Like,
agreed. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's just like you go up and you learn and you talk about it and you share that passion, whether you play on the stage or whether you DJ or whether you listen to music. And I don't know. I think it's awesome. I think music should be loved and shared in any way, in every way.
Agreed. Yeah. Yep. It's a therapy. It's like you feel good, you play music. If you feel shitty, you play music.
Yep.
So it's
100%.
It's a pretty
Agreed.
good combo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed.
Cool.
You're cool.
Oh, thanks, man. Along with the podcast, I noticed that you're also doing a radio show called Dawg and Gus Do the 90s on Whitewater. What's that all about?
All 90s, different genres, every Tuesday, 7 to 9. And then on whitewaterrocks.ca. And then Dawg does his own show on Wednesday, which is from 7 to 9, where he's in the kitchen and he plays all the Ottawa artists. Right?
Yep, a lot of well, not a lot, but indie artists from Ottawa. Anybody who's actually a lot of folks who have been on our show,
of course.
And I'm going to start looking through yours and be posting some of your shows because you've got a lot of local guys that you've had on too that I haven't spoken to. So I'm just trying, for 2 hours, I just play local source music as best I can. And it's been great.
Yeah, it's fun.
And
cool,
Mike Graham, who runs Whitewater Rocks, he has a show on Thursday nights. And we've just had another gentleman join us, Chris Gaines, out of Kingston. And he's another promoter / musician dude. And he's amazing. And he has a show called Barn Burner on Saturday nights.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're next. You got to fill out the Monday spot or the Friday spot. We'll get you on there.
Yeah, sure, that'd be cool. What is your take on radio nowadays? Everybody and their dog has a podcast. And I don't I can't remember the last time I actually switched on if I'm driving on the car radio. Like I said, I used to work with a radio station in town, and every time I get in my vehicle, I turn on a music or I turn on a podcast, information, that type of stuff. Where do you see the future of radio going? Do you figure that podcasts are the future? Do you think they'll eventually just kind of phase radio out altogether? Where's your take on that?
What do you think?
I think they're going to go away because unfortunately what they play is all the same music. I haven't turned it on in a while, but every time I go to Shea 106, it's Thunderstruck's on, or it's just, to me, I think the key that was so great about Live 885, and you were part of that, was the fact that they did play local artists and they did play, some obscure stuff as opposed to just hits, and I think I think there'll always be a place for it. I just don't know where they're going to evolve to or devolve from. Sirius XM has obviously crushed them too. I mean, that's a big station. That's a big moving part too. But podcasts, I mean, God, like you said, I mean, I much rather put on a podcast. I listen to about 4 or 5 different ones a week, including Ego and Vice, and then I enjoy them because they're informative, and then you can learn a bit more about anybody. And I think that you'll see a lot more internet-based radio as well, and not to say that that's because we're on it. I mean, that is part of it in my vision, but it's like, I think that some it's harder. People will create apps and then you can go from there. But I don't think that traditional radio that we grew up on, that we loved, is going to ever be the same.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think it's almost like because you can podcasts or like anything streaming or any music, you can choose what you want to listen to. Where it's like, it's even like TV right now. It's like nobody channel surfs anymore. Everybody kind of streams, and I figure radio's gonna get that way too. It's just like you turn on the radio and you have to listen to what's on, right? Where it's like everybody nowadays, it's like I'm gonna choose exactly what I want. I think it's sad though, because it's just like losing CDs. It's just like losing physical copies of things. Then you're going to lose TV, you're going to lose radio, and everything. Just the hardest thing for me in the world is to sit in front of a menu of I can listen to anything at any time, at any point, at anything, and I can never decide what's on. I miss the comfort of just laying on the couch, half comatose, channel surfing and watching nothing. Maybe even with the radio too. Turn on the radio and there's your favorite song coming on. Who knows?
For sure. I mean,
for years and years, I've in one vehicle, I didn't even know how the radio worked because I would listen to a CD that I mixed or a playlist that I have, or along those lines. I don't deal with commercials. I don't want to slag any of the DJs, but I just find that some of them were, I just didn't jive with. I just didn't like to listen to them.
I like to listen to Doc and Woody in the morning when I was driving in the morning. Like I enjoyed that show because I liked Randall Moore too. He was very informed. Like I would loved his
Randall's rants.
Yeah, they were great. Yeah. But you're right. It's sort of a sad thing because what is going to come of that? And I think they'll have to evolve, or they'll have to change the way they do things because that's just the way it's going. They got to kind of evolve with the times, and it does suck for sure. Yeah. I agree, because I still love my CDs and my albums and stuff, but it's but young people, like, they don't.
It's going to become down. I think it's come down to monetary. Like, you're paying all these people to be on the radio and stuff, and if people are not tuning in and listening and stuff, the listening ship is going to go down, and they're not going to need these radio. They're killing jobs all over the place with like the CBC and stuff, and just dropping.
Bell
and exactly, and dropping radio stations like they were, they're a bad investment now.
Well, that's kind of one of the things that brought up the question, because it just seems like every 6 months you'll see something on like social media where it's like, because my ex-wife way back when, she used to work for CTV, so I knew all those people in that kind of media, with the 88.5 and the radio stations and stuff, and I've just seen them kind of. This like Bob FM, you can go on. They just like, and I knew the people that they're working for that, and they just eventually just cut back, and until there's and the Rogers radio just they just got rid of that, didn't they? What was that?
Rogers cutting back, Bell's cutting back, so it's like
Bell Media got rid of like Stuntman Stu and like that whole crew at Magic.
Yeah.
They're not going to pay these DJs any money anymore, so it's there's the Howard Sterns of the world are. Few and far between,
I guess so. Yeah. But, it's just the way it goes. And speaking of, like, you were talking about the car where you didn't know how to work the radio in your car. My girlfriend just bought a brand new Subaru, and this might be been going on forever, but I kind of made note of it just by something I saw online where they said people don't even notice that CD players don't come with cars anymore.
Yep, it's true.
It's like there's nowhere to, like, even if you brought say you're at old school and you buy this nice car and you bring your nice big CD book, there's nowhere to put the friggin' CD, right? It's all it's because it's all built into the dash and that.
Yeah.
So
and you can't even ask for it. I don't think.
Well, you have an auxiliary port where you could probably plug one in, but that's
right.
Yeah, they're not physically in the vehicle.
Like anymore. A Discman.
Yeah. If anybody has one of those,
nobody has any of those. If you do, they're selling on eBay.
Do you remember the thing where you had the CD player and you had the little dummy cassette that you had to put in your cassette
put into the cassette player? Yeah.
And it had the cable that hung out that kind of ran your CD player?
Yes, sir.
I remember that, and then I remember when I bought my Pioneer with the flashy lights on it and put it in my fucking $300 shit box, and it was like it was amazing at the time because I could play my CDs at a rapid pace.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Because I can't listen to
he doesn't listen to whole songs.
I do, but at different times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Well, whole songs, half songs. Sometimes half songs are better than whole songs. You get the gist of it, right? So
it's a problem because I'm always looking for the right song.
Yeah.
And like you just said about trying to figure out what to listen to. It's been a thing with the CDs even. Like I had a book of CDs and I would just be like flipping through them while smoking a cigarette, driving standard. You basically kind of got away with it back then. Maybe talking on a flip phone too. And yeah, those days were fun though. I loved having that, but I loved the new CD and I loved tapes because I remember tapes were a big thing with my first car. So I had all these tapes and you could just put them in the tape deck.
Yeah.
Well, like that's even
Tape
yeah.
deck.
Yeah, it was mint.
Well,
Those were the
it's
days.
the nostalgia of the actual hard copy. Like I always bring up like when you got it and you unwrapped the plastic on it, and they always had that kind of smell, like the book. It was almost like the press or the printing or something. It had that smell to it that was just anyway.
Sensational.
It's great. I have a little question thing that I do at the end of every podcast, kind of like what you guys do with your 80s and 90s. But one of my questions is what was the very first CD, tape, or record that you actually bought with your own money? And I've had guests on that are like younger generation bands, and where they say, "Oh, I don't know, I've never bought music before like that." Like, and it's just like, "Oh, that's crazy," right? Like,
yeah,
not even a CD. They're like,
you saved a lot of money.
yeah, they're just like, no, because it doesn't seem that long ago for me, right? But
Really
I guess it kind of
Really
it has been.
Yeah, sometime in your life you bought the last CD that you've purchased, and you didn't even know it.
Yeah,
It's deep, man.
Last
It
CD.
is
Now,
deep.
Do you keep your CDs, or have you gotten rid of them like some people do?
I have all mine in the garage with my old. I have a Pioneer CD player that you touch the top and the thing goes down, and then you put the CD like this.
Nice.
Like flat, and then I listen to it in the garage because it's just kind of my space,
Cool.
And then I still have them.
I have all of mine.
Yeah.
And I have a 200 disc CD player.
Yeah, it's true. And
it's like a
and they all
it's like a
still work,
jukebox.
And they all still work. They still work perfectly. That's the thing. Like that stuff was made primo.
Yeah. They'll never have the well, maybe some of them will, but they'll never have like that value like old vinyl did, because CDs were just so unbelievably just mass produced, right? They're just like plastic.
Yeah.
Cheap. Anyway, yeah.
That's where they made the most money in the music industry.
CDs.
Yeah. When the CDs came out, they would charge you $20. It cost them like 50 cents to make or something.
Right. Crazy, right?
And vinyl was always like $30 or $20 to press, right?
Yeah.
So,
back in the days of the big record companies too, that would just like pay the artist peanuts and zero money to make, and those people would just get fat rich off of artists. Anyway, we're going down the nostalgic rabbit hole, which I love. But let's talk a little bit more about Dawg and Gus. So over the 3 years that you've been doing it, can you talk about some of the highlights, some of the best things, the best memories that you can, like just
What?
You go first.
I'll go first. We've talked about this a few times where we're trying to pick out one that stands out above others, and I can't really pick anything. Well, the Amanda Rayon one was a big one because that was key to us, like to me personally, lightening up about like who we're talking to and realizing, as Gus would tell me many times, that they're just people, right? And I'm just kind of like, I gotta, just kind of not be so nervous about it. Just having some of the amazing people. Well, I mean, like having guys come on the show with their guitars and just doing stuff for us right here in the studio was just like, that was like brilliant for me. I love that.
Yeah, Almir Jules, when he played,
yes.
We had him actually at the Staples of all places.
Yes.
So he shows up with this beautiful guitar and dressed, how he dresses. He's amazing.
Dressed to the
hat,
nines,
and he's all dressed up nicely and then sort of chatting with him and he sort of brought up a song that was very obscure that Michael Jackson did that I absolutely love now, but then he played a few songs for us and he just blew us away. Like he's just so talented. His voice is just like melting butter, and even having Trevor Allgaier on, and he he showed up late because he was going to a pawn shop to buy a guitar from the 1930s, and he's driving this 1965 Chevy that's all rusted out, and he just sort of showed up, and he wanted to talk for hours. We're like, well, we're 1 hour, and then we're out, just because I think that's the best amount of time for a podcast.
I think we've both been doing it long enough to know that anything over that is a little bit too much. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a fun one too, because he showed up late and he was just a really charismatic, fun guy. And
the one with Rebecca with Noel was amazing. Like, so much fun and such an interesting person. And she made us laugh. And then the boys from Winter, the first time they came in, and it was kind of
they're all hungover, and they brought the Dick Man with them, Dick guy, and like it was. Yeah, there's just it's probably similar to yours in the sense that everybody brought something to the show, and it was just sort of a fun. It's been fun. We haven't had any real downs.
No, it's been amazing, and we're hoping we can keep this up. Like the one we just did tonight was so much fun. Like we were laughing our asses off, and it was just, and they were very engaging, and it's been amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're lucky, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what is the future? What do you guys want to do? Like, do you have a plan for the future? Do you just want to keep going? Do you want to expand? Like, what's the Dawg and Gus empire shaping up?
I'll let Gus take this one.
I don't think there's a we'd love to maybe do it as a full-time job. I guess that would be amazing, but it's not like, everybody can do that. The Rogans of the world and such, but I don't think that's our future, but I think that we'll be able to maybe do some promotions of some sort and help bands kind of create, maybe organize something for them and make sure that we have like a nice show for them, or do something like that, like maybe do 10 a year and sort of, make the band's money and then make a little bit for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the money. Of course, it's never been about that. It's always been about the passion, but it'd be cool to make a little bit and sort of just, dream. We can dream big, and my dream has always been big. And I always figure like it'd be amazing if this was our only needed income, like that would be always cool if we could create like either a, do some nice strategic work, maybe even with you or with anybody, and just have like something we do every day, or something that we do 5 days a week that is different. I don't know. It's sort of an evolving product that has brought me so much joy and brought Dawg so much joy that it doesn't matter about that, but it would be cool to monetize it. But as you know, the music industry doesn't really bear a lot of fruit. There's a lot of love and
definitely
monetization. Yeah, but I think it could be as big as we'll take it all, man. Like, it just if we could do promotions, if we can do say the radio station does well, say we the podcast does something, and maybe it'd be cool to have our own radio show on like Sirius XM.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Or even maybe interviewing some bigger. Yeah, like not stray away from what we've been doing, but to get into maybe some of the bigger bands here in Canada, or maybe a few of our favorites that we could actually sit down and interview. That'd be cool.
Be very cool.
I definitely think that's the way to go. There's an old saying in when you're in a band, it's like, how do you become successful? You just don't break up. Never break up. Just keep plugging away and building what you're building, and sooner or later you're going to look around you and you are going to have, I won't say an empire, but you are going to have something that people know. And with my podcast, I just kind of plug away at it. And if I wouldn't be like, I'm not really anywhere, but I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if I had just like kind of whatever with it. I just kept going with it. And it's very easy to do now, and people kind of know it, and eventually you grow it. I've watched your podcast grow. Like, I can tell that it's doing that, and it's congratulations for that, because I know how hard you work. You guys drop an episode like every Monday on the dime, and that's a hell of a lot of work with the video, the audio, all your promotion, all your marketing and stuff. So you don't do that if you don't love what you're doing. And I think if you keep going down that road, it's like the snowball down the hill. It's going to eventually grow and grow. for growing bigger, this is something I deal with as well. It's that my podcast is just so niche, and I get, because it's just local music, and that's all I want to do. And I know that if I wanted to get out there further, like you were just talking about, I'd have to start kind of branching off into bigger bands outside of Ottawa, and like, you know, and I think if you have the ability to do that, and that's kind of a goal where you want to grow the brand for yourselves, I think you should totally go for it. And I don't think anyone in Ottawa is going to think like, oh, they're not local, and oh, Dawg and Gus are selling out, man. I don't think that would ever be an issue. But I think for my sake, I'm just going to stay kind of local. So I'm probably never going to get that much bigger than I am, but I'm comfortable with that too, you know?
Yeah.
But if you guys want to grow it and get it bigger, I don't think you owe Ottawa anything. You know, you've put in a lot of work and you've given back to the artists and the scene, and what more can you do, right? I'm just saying.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think it's the strategic idea that I've always had, and I think Dawg has agreed with, is we put it out every Monday. We're consistent. We try and stay. We're obviously going to stay together as a group. I would say, you know, like as a team, and you know, we discuss everything that all aspects of the show, and you know, I respect Dawg's position on things, and then of course he respects mine on certain things, because I do a lot of research on, you know, what works and what's good for marketing and what's this and what's that. But you know, it's so much. I enjoy it, so it's not like, you know, I spend time on it obviously, and so does Dawg, but we enjoy it. So it's like, who cares what happens? But it'd be amazing to, like you said, if we could evolve into the next phase of it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm happy. We're happy with this as well. So it's not like we're going to be pissed off if we don't monetize it.
Not at all.
Way, you know?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that the music scene, or the Ottawa music scene, or whatever it is that we're all representing here, I think it's better with Dawg and Gus there. And I'm happy you guys I'm happy you guys are there. And I think we're all supporting the same cause. And if we just keep plugging away, you know, I think that's the success in itself.
Yeah, that's the other thing someone brought up is like, you're in competition with Ego and Vice, and I was like, no, actually we're not. We're all strategic in this, and we're trying to be a team. You know?
I'm too old and too tired to compete with any of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. If I was a stand-up comedian and your jokes were funnier, then I'd be like, they're funnier than me. But it's not about me. It's about the presentation of the local music. So it's like, how do you compete? Like, I'm gonna ask better questions to this band. These, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, it's about showcasing the band, right? I'm not doing. Right. Yeah. So that's always been my mission statement, or that's always been my kind of MO. So, hey, man, I think the more the better, and we talked about this before, and I think it's great, and I wish you guys nothing but success and energy and good night's sleeps, because you guys work too hard. But if you love what you're doing, like I said, it's not work at all, right?
That's right.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's right.
I had a game which I bounced off you guys, because we're not going to put any music in this. Well, maybe I will. Who knows? I put together a little competition between you guys, because I know that Dawg likes the 80s and Gus likes the 90s. I have some 80s and 90s trivia that I'm going to ask you guys, and we're going to go by the point system, where we're going to go down, and we'll ask as many questions as we can within the time frame as we can, and we'll get to the end, and we'll tally it. We'll see who is the grand champion of the 80s and 90s music trivia, Dawg and Gus version 1. How's that sound?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dawg's going to win this.
You never know. You never know.
Well, you don't know.
Just throw me a couple softballs, bro.
Thanks, bro.
Okay, so
fire away.
Okay, here we go.
It's Dawg and Gus playing 80s and 90s trivia. There's no trophies, no medals, no prizes of any kind. Just Dawg and Gus playing 80s and 90s trivia.
Okay, we're back. Here we go. This is the Dawg and Gus Ultimate 80s and 90s Music Quiz, starring Dawg and Gus. Okay, first question is for Gus. This is a 90s question. Question number 1. Whitney Houston's hit cover version of I Will Always Love You was originally written by which singer?
Dolly Parton.
Oh, I was going to name them off, but you nailed it. Dolly Parton. Boom. All right. So that is 1 point for 1 point for Gus.
I'll take it, man. I'm sorry. I the only reason I probably know that is because of you.
That's right.
All right. Oh yeah, I love Dolly Parton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or no, because of him? Because of me?
Yeah, because of Dawg.
Oh, I
Dawg
thought.
probably.
See, that's
Maybe you too. Maybe when we talked to you, we brought it up.
That's my ego talking. I just assumed it's always about me, so never mind.
True that. Yeah.
Okay, Dawg. First 80s question for you. Janet Jackson's single "Rhythm Nation" was released in which year? 86, 87, 88, or 89?
He gets a Dolly Parton question, and I get a fucking year question. 87.
It was 1989. So 0. Okay.
0. Ask him a numbers question.
All right. Sure. Question number 2 for Gus, the 90s question. Oasis single Wonderwall was originally called Wishing Stone. True or false?
False.
The answer is true. It is Wishing Stone. So, no point for Gus, but he still leads 1-0. Okay, let's go back. So we're going to next question for Dawg.
Mm-hmm.
What country are 80s pop legends Aha from?
Go ahead. Do I get choices or do I have to tell you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess I should do that. I am a bad host. Sweden, Finland, Denmark, or Norway?
Norway.
Aha are yes, you're right, Norwegian.
Nice, Dawg.
So we're tied at 1. Okay.
Shit.
So going back to the 90s for Gus, Bjork scored a #1 single in her home country for the song It's Oh So Quiet. What country was that? Sweden, Iceland, Finland, or Norway?
Iceland.
Yeah. Bjork is from Iceland. You are correct, sir.
You just started nodding when he said Iceland. You're like, yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done.
Well done, sir. Well done, sir.
Easy question so far, except for the hard one that I got wrong.
All right, let's see how we do here. So this is an 80s question for Dawg. Andy Bell and Vince Clarke were a pop duo known as what? The Commonards, the Pet Shop Boys, Erasure, or Yazoo?
I'm going to go with the Pet Shop Boys.
The Pet Shop Boys is wrong. It's Erasure.
Frasier.
Frasier's Erasure. Okay. So we are at question 4, and Gus is up 2-0.
2-1.
2-1. Oh, 2-1. Pardon me. Yeah.
1. You got 1.
Someone's keeping track here.
Mm-hmm.
This is which band performed the Friends theme, I'll Be There For You? The Foo Fighters, Nirvana, Counting Crows, or the Rembrandts?
The Rembrandts.
You're correct, sir.
This is a big one. 3-1, 3-2. Could be 3-3.
It's like the Leafs in the playoffs, man.
Oh, dirty.
Oh.
Okay.
We're not playing tonight. No.
We're going to back to the 80s for Dawg. Mars had a hit in 1988 with Pump Up the what? Airbed, Football, Volume, or Pool Float?
Really?
Better know this one.
Volume, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good. It's all right.
I wanted to go with
It's like,
Pool Float.
I get all the easy ones.
That
Pump Up the Pool Float.
Pump up the pool float. Pump up the
football.
Pump up the football.
Actually, I kind of like that. Pump up the pool float. That's pretty good.
I'm down with that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Okay, so oh boy, who had a hit with "You Can't Touch This" in 1990?
MC Hammer.
Why don't I just give it to you? Why don't I just say the answer first? Okay, 80s. Dawg. Which of these is not a Cyndi Lauper song? True Colors, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, Time After Time, or Like a Prayer?
Like a Prayer. That was Madonna.
Madonna. Very good. Very good. Next question is for the 90s.
90s.
Maybe I should have got some harder questions. Which Hanson song reached #1 in the USA and the UK in 1997?
Bop.
Bop is correct. The film Bohemian Rhapsody told the story of which rock band? Def Leppard, Queen. Do I need to say it?
I'm just getting. No, you don't have to. Queen.
Queen. Very good. Okay. All right. Where are we at?
5-4. 5-4. Yeah.
Okay. 5-4. Which neighbor star had a hit with Torn in 1997? Natalie Imbruglia, Jason Donovan, Stephen Dennis, or Kylie Minogue?
It was Natalie Imbruglia.
Natalie Imbruglia. 80s, Doug.
Yes, sir.
Survivor had a hit with Eye of the Tiger. Which film did it feature in? Ghostbusters, Back to the Future 2, Rocky 3, or Top Gun?
Rocky 3.
Yeah. Eye of the Tiger, Rock. Eye of the Tiger.
Survivor. Mickey. Cut me, Mick.
Yeah. You're getting killed to death out there.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, 90s. Who released a single in 1999 called Genie in a Bottle?
Oh, man.
Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Yaz, or Aladdin and the Magic Carpets?
I like that one.
Xtina.
Okay. Christina Aguilera.
Christina.
There you go. Who was never going to give you up in 1987?
Rick Astley.
Yeah, okay. I can talk about layout. You just rickrolled me.
I rickrolled.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is fun.
Yeah, it is.
The 90s. That's where we're at, right? Yeah, okay.
Here's the hard one. Here comes a hard one.
Which British group had a hit with Never Ever? No Saints, Some Saints, All Saints, A Saint.
All Saints.
All Saints. You're correct. All Saints. Boy George sang for what band? The Cure, Wet, 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 The Culture Club, or the Christians?
I think it's the Culture Club.
All right. You are correct. Okay, moving right along.
I think we should.
My Heart Will Go On, sung by Celine Dion. But which film did the song appear?
Ooh.
Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. The classic Air Bud. Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas, or Titanic?
It's Titanic.
I'll Never Let Go. Okay. All right. Dog, 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Which all-girl group had a Manic Monday?
The Bangles.
The Bangles. Still good stuff.
Ask me who wrote the song.
Who wrote Manic Monday by the Bangles? Performed by the Bangles.
Prince.
Did he really?
Yep.
No, now you know.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't know.
Now you know.
Now you know. Okay, the 90s. Gus. Jordan Knight, Danny Wood, Donnie Wahlberg, Jonathan Knight, and Joey McIntyre were members of which? Hanging Tough? Hanging Gus?
Yeah.
Hanging Gus. All right.
NKOTB.
Okay. But before they became like real like edgy, they were just the good old New Kids on the Block.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, okay. What was Whitney Houston's first #1 in the U.S.? I Will Always Love You, Greatest Love of All, Saving All My Love, or I Want to Dance with Somebody?
Oh my God.
It's for you.
I know it's for me, but those were all like, well,
They're all hits.
Yeah. The last one.
I Want to Dance with
Dance with
Somebody?
Somebody.
You are correct, sir.
I want to dance with somebody.
Yep. Oh, Whitney.
I want to feel the heat Somebody.
Ooh, that's pretty good. I thought Whitney was here. I thought she was here. Okay. Which band has hits with "Don't Speak"? This is for Gus in the 90s.
God.
And "Just a Girl." Some Doubt, Def Leppard, or No Doubt.
No doubt, bro.
Here we go. 80s for Dawg. Band-Aid was the name of an all-star charity group. What song did they release? Oops. Feed the World, We Are the World, Do They Know It's Christmas?
Do They Know It's Christmas?
And Stars. It is Do They Know It's Christmas? You're right. So let's go down into the 90s here again. And we have... Which pop group scored a #1 hit with their debut single, Wannabe? Atomic...
Spice Girls.
Oh, okay. Very good. Rapid fire
Seriously.
answers. The 90s are...
What?
I don't think you've had a hard question.
Well, the true or false one was hard.
No, it wasn't. It was 50-50.
You guys are doing pretty good. You're kind of neck and neck right
Yeah.
now. I'd have to add them
Yeah.
up because there's lots of ticks on my page now, and I lost track after 4 to 5.
I think I'm up 1.
4, so
He's up by 1.
I've been up 1 for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, because he hasn't got one wrong. So
Just 1.
just one. I've got 2 wrong, I think.
I was gonna say keep your own score, but I was
Too late now.
I was worried about potential cheating. Okay, here we go. Dawg.
Yes, sir.
What is Madonna's full name? Madonna Louise Belladonna, Madonna Louise Ciccone, Madonna Louise Capone, or Madonna Louise Trombone?
Ciccone.
Ciccone. Very good. Gus, 90s. Which member of the Spice Girls was known as Sporty Spice? This is your second Spice Girls question. In the first Spice Girls question, you answered it right away. So, which member of the Spice Girls was known as Sporty Spice? Mel Brown, Emma Bunton, Melanie Chisholm, or Jerry Halliwell?
Melanie Chisholm.
Melanie Chisholm, you're right. Okay, Dawg.
Yes, sir.
Who had a hit with Everybody Wants to Rule the World? Erasure, back again. Talk Talk, Tapow, or Tears for Fears?
Tears or Fears?
You are correct. Very good. Very good. Okay, where are we at? Things are getting tense. Things are getting tense in podcast land. Which country were the Backstreet Boys from? That's kind of... Canada, United States of America, England, or Australia?
USA.
Yeah. Dawg, 80s. The Power of Love appears on the Back to the Future soundtrack. Who performed it?
Huey Lewis and the News.
Yes. I love Huey. I
Who doesn't?
love Sports.
So
That's a great record.
That's a great album.
I'm looking at for Dawg, 80s. I'm looking at a man standing in front of an American flag in a pair of blue jeans with a red
Bruce Springsteen.
baseball cap.
Yes.
It's the question is
Born in the USA.
who's the chap wearing the red cap in his pocket? Yes, it is the boss, Mr. Bruce Springsteen. Okay. What was the title of Britney Spears' debut single? Gus, 90s. Baby One More Time. You Drive Me Crazy, I Will Be There, or Email My Heart?
Maybe one more time.
You got it.
I like Email My Heart. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Dawg,
Yeah.
80s. Which
Yes, sir.
band had the hit with Come On Eileen?
Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Got her. All right, final question for both of you. And
It's
then
tied, too.
we'll tally.
Pretty sure it's tied.
Which group released Barbie Girl in 1997?
Aqua.
Aqua. Yeah. And the last question goes to... Okay, Queen had a hit in 1986 with some kind of what? Illusion, trick, magic, or Muppet?
Magic.
Magic is the one. All right. Very good. Very good, guys. Let's see what we got here. 1, 2,
Tie.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is it? 13, 14.
For sure.
Yeah, I believe we both got 2 wrong. So
You are equally knowledgeable in your chosen decades. I'm proud of you both, and we got through it, and we should never do that again.
exactly.
I really want to thank you guys for being on, and like I said, touched on before, congratulations with the success. I look forward to future Dawg and Gus growth and episodes, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. And any final words?
Love you, Mike. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Yeah, seriously, keep it up.
Yeah, let's all meet up soon enough when get out to a good show or something like that, and
For sure.
chill out.
Well, until next time, guys, thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Mikey.
Take care.
So that's it. That's episode 133. I'd like to thank Dawg and Gus for coming on the show and having some fun. It's always great to talk to those guys and support the local. That's all I got to say. If you want to get a hold of me, you can always reach me at egoandvice@gmail.com. If you want to listen to the podcast or you want to know anything about the podcast, go to egoandvicepodcast.com. That is my hub, my HQ, my headquarters, my fortress of solitude, everything and anything Ego and Vice is linked there, so check it out. Again, thanks for showing up, and we will talk to you soon. Later.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.